Taherzadeh is an award-winning filmmaker. She presented her new film, Mercy's Blessing, at the 2018 Parliament of World Religions. She joins us today to talk about how a film can do more than just entertain, but can educate and inspire.
May, it's wonderful to have you and chat with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You've done this film, Mercy's Blessing, that have won a lot of awards and have been very impactful. What inspired you to create that film? Maybe you could talk to that.
So, Mercy's Blessing is a short film of 30 minutes set in an African village. It's a story about a brother and a sister, and it's really essentially a story about selfless love and sacrifice. But it is within the context of the importance of equality between women and men and the importance of education. I grew up in Malawi, and as an adult, when I returned again with my husband and children, we went there to adopt a little girl. And while I was there, it came to my attention that less than 25% of girls are finishing primary school, and less than 5% of girls are finishing high school, and 1 in 2 girls is a child bride.
Wow.
So I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what. And as a filmmaker, I thought, what happens if I make a short film? But a short film that can hopefully be used for more than just entertainment. A film that can touch our hearts, a film that can perhaps challenge some of our assumptions that we have, a film that can maybe help reorient our perspectives and to also refocus our energies. So I wrote and directed a very short film, Mercy's Blessing, 30-minute film set in a village in Africa, a story about selfless love and sacrifice, a story about a brother and sister, a story reminding us of the strength of the human spirit and the role that men can play, especially that men can play in standing up for justice and promoting the equality of women and men. So this short film has now gone to over 20 film festivals around the world.
Wow. And
it has won 12 international film awards. So it's been very exciting.
It's already been fruitful. This film is very different than your ordinary films. There is particular things that you purposely conducted, or the way that you created the film. Do you want to talk to those?
There's little speaking in our movie. There's a lot of music in our movie. That's right. You know, there's something about, there's a power in film, and there's also a power in music. There's a power in the arts that can help touch our hearts. Very often our hearts can maybe be very closed and our minds can be closed, but music and the arts and film, they have a power that I believe help unlock that. Often when we are touched by something, it is the heart that is touched. And when the heart is touched, we have more compassion. And our mind becomes more open, our mind has more curiosity, and we're able to maybe accept a different perspective that we were not willing to before. There is a beautiful Baha'i quotation that has always inspired me. It says, "Art can better awaken such noble sentiments than cold rationalizing, especially among the mass of the people."
Wow.
And what we found was that when Mercy's Blessing, although it's an African story made in Malawi, when we found that it was being used in different audiences in South America, in North America, in China, Australia, Europe, we found that there was an audience that was being touched by this, because essentially the film is really reminding us of who we are. The film is very much, it has universal themes of love, of sacrifice, of hope, of despair. And we found that people were able to relate to these universal themes. And when one's heart is touched, then we are more willing perhaps to learn more about things that we thought didn't concern us.
This film has been around and have
Yes.
exerted a lot of influence. What were some of the impacts of the film?
So interestingly, the film has a life of its own. It's now being used in over 100 countries around the world. People are using it with youth groups. They're using it in schools, in the classroom, in universities. They're using it in community gatherings. They're using it even in the workplace, or even in your living room in your home. And what is happening is people are using the film as a tool to create a space to have a meaningful discussion.
Nice.
So what we've done is we've created with this film a resource kit, which you can also find on our website. You can get it for free. And there's a resource kit with questions that we've developed, workshop questions, which accompany the film. And the way that works is that you'll watch the film together, whether it's in your living room or in a school. And after you've watched the film, there is place for discussion to take place. And it is in that space of discussion that awareness is raised. For example, maybe we'll talk about sacrifice. And we'll talk about the characters in the film, about their story of sacrifice. But then the questions always come to ourselves, our own reality. In what ways have people sacrificed for you? For us? In what ways have you sacrificed for others? Or perhaps there's a theme about privilege, in which we'll be able to talk about what privileges did the main actor have in the film?
Right.
And why was that? What privileges then do we say do we have where we live? And what are the things that we can do when you have privilege? How can you use your privilege to help others and be of service? There are questions about gender equality, about gender roles. There's questions about having a voice and having choice. What are the choices that we make? About the importance of education. But another component is artistic component that we ask people to do. We're asking people, we're saying to them, once you have now watched the movie, you've had a discussion about these different themes that are there, a variety of themes about prejudice, about justice. Now, can you create some art? Can you create something? So some people are making dramas and then presenting it to the community, but something to do with their own interpretation of that theme in their environment. So for example, in Brazil, these thousands of students who watched this film, they had a discussion in the classroom or in universities about how to reduce high school dropout, about the choices they make, about their lives. And then they were all challenged to go and make a film, to go make a video with their cell phones and try to talk to people who had dropped out of high school and say, why did you drop out? Please come back. Or talk to people who've graduated. How does it feel to finish? And so what happened was amazing, because the impact that was created was that these students themselves were bringing students back in or stopping other students from dropping out. So I was invited there to visit these schools, and I met many of these students who said, yes, I was thinking of dropping out of school, or I had dropped out, or I was thinking of going into drugs or this or that. But because my friends came and told me about what they're doing, now I finished high school. So it's been very exciting to see the impact it's taken. So the idea is the movie can create a meaningful space. The movie is a tool that can create a meaningful space for discussion to take place, followed by some creative creation that people will make, whether it's music or art or film or even painting, poetry, and spread it and share it with the community. And then you'll create change in your environment. We invite schools and organizations and also individuals to use this film as a means to create a space to have meaningful discussions with your neighbor, with your colleagues at work, or in a school environment or university or your organization, to create this space and have those meaningful discussions and start to inspire courage for change around you.
What I love is that you have created a package explaining how this is exactly can be done, guiding those that are in the position to do that, to bring the film into their settings and be able to do that. So all all those means and all those guidelines and descriptions are available.
Yes, on our website there is a resource kit which has in it workshop questions, a facilitator's guide, how you can use the film is translated into 14 languages, and Persian
Nice.
is one of them, and it should be very soon on our website that they can download. Otherwise,
Wonderful.
for the moment, you can use it in English or Arabic we have, and they'll be able to use the material. So our website is merciesblessing.com. And there at merciesblessing.com you can access the film and the free resource kits. And if you do have a screening, please let us know. We'd love to see photos, hear about it. We would love to hear how you're inspiring change in your environment.
Fantastic.
Thank you.